Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I discuss all things human design. On today's episode, I'm going to be finishing up the conversation around the throat energy center. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be diving right into the gates, and I discussed a little bit about the throat energy center in part 1, and I mentioned that I will be coming out with additional videos covering communication and manifestation in human design that actually have a lot more to do with the throat energy center. If you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I've linked several resources in the description box below where you can learn more about human design for free. As with all of these videos, I will be referencing the textbook, the definitive book of human design, The Science of Differentiation, co-written by the founder of human design, Ra-Uru Hu, as well as my notes of 8 years. So with that, let's jump to it. I'll be starting with gate 20 and I'll be ending with gate 56, and I have linked in the description box below timestamps to all of the gates so you can jump to those as well. Gate 20 I always deem as the Aries energy, but before I dive into what I mean by that, let's get into the textbook definition. Gate 20 is contemplation. It's the gate of the now. And as I mentioned, when I think about it as the Aries energy, I think about it as Aries often being those that speak before they think. I personally am an Aries, so let me know in the comments below if you also are an Aries or if you can relate to this, but I so often will just say something that's on my mind and I don't necessarily mean what I say, I'm super direct. And when I say something that is direct, it is never with the intention of hurting anyone's feelings. It's simply just what's on my mind. I didn't think about how it might come out and then I just blurt it out, and it is not always received in the best way. The gate 20 is really all about being direct, and I always say that those of the gate 20 are the direct friends. They don't sugarcoat anything, they tell it like it is. If you are wearing something and your gate 20 friend doesn't think that what you're wearing looks best on you, they will be sure to tell you regardless of if you asked them their opinion or their thoughts. Gate 20 is the ultimate truth teller. They're not good at keeping anything in, they just say it, and I think that a lot of us appreciate that in friendship, but sometimes it can be quite difficult when we don't always hear what we want to hear. But I think it's kind of a fun gate, and I always laugh when people realize that they have the gate 20 or that they had been talking to someone with the gate 20, because it's always just a really fun realization, and it's never meant to be in a bad way. It's just that they are literally saying whatever is on their mind and they don't always think about how it might come off. The gate 16 is a super interesting one. The gate 16 in the textbook is about enthusiasm, and it's the gate of skills. Those with a gate 16 are like these inner geniuses that have some sort of skill, whether they know it or not, that once they develop it, it becomes their gift to the world. One of my favorite examples of a gate 16 was a client I had who, she was in her mid-60s and she had been singing her whole life, but she never thought anything of it. She always sang in the shower. And one day a friend came early to her house and heard her singing in the shower and asked, hey, did you know that your voice is incredible, that you should be performing? And she literally had no idea. She thought this was just a skill, she didn't really even think of it as a skill. She thought, I always sing in the shower. I didn't think it was a big deal. And today she actually performs live in front of audiences. Those with the gate 16 often don't even notice that what their skill is even special. You might naturally be awesome at languages or really good at math, and you don't really understand why it is that you're so good at these different skills, but the more that you embrace them, the more you're able to be of service to others. For example, maybe you're really good at math, but you don't think it's a cool thing, so you kind of keep it to yourself. But then others realize that you're really good at math, and you end up becoming a tutor for others, and you end up using your math skills as a service to others, and that's how that skill ends up developing. So it's a really interesting one, and I love asking those with a gate 16 if they have discovered whatever that inner genius part of them is yet, because a lot of times it's not obvious to them, but it's super obvious to those around them. The next gate is gate 62, and gate 62 is the preponderance of the small, the gate of detail. When I look at my notes, I've written it's all about explaining the facts, looking at the details and understanding and explaining the facts. Those with the gate 62, they often are super logical. Logic comes very easy to them. They are able to understand a scenario that might be quite complex, and to them, they're just like, oh yeah, this is how it comes out and this makes sense. Maybe you work in architecture or you're a lawyer where things can oftentimes feel really messy, but for you, it makes complete sense. And so the Gate 62 is really special, and I really admire those that have it and how they're able to literally explain the facts to others around them. They're really able to help make sense of things that might otherwise be confusing to the rest of us. The next gate is Gate 23. Gate 23 is splitting apart, the gate of assimilation. And Gate 23 is an interesting one. And the way I like to think about it is the founder of human design, he had the 2343 channel, which I'll be speaking about the Gate 43 in the next video. But the Gate 23 is the ability to explain something without any emotional attachment. So the founder of human design, for example, he founded human design based off of all these different ancient modalities, and he didn't expect anything from others. He simply shared this knowledge and explained it in a way that he encouraged it being a journey. He really encouraged others to take in this information and experience it as a journey. He didn't expect others to follow him. In fact, he was a manifester, so he already kind of knew that people will either understand what he's saying or they won't, and it doesn't matter. He was simply here to share information and detach himself from it. So those with the Gate 23, they're really able to communicate in a very clear-cut way, but not have any emotional attachment to whatever it is that they're saying. And the last gate I'm going to share about is Gate 56. Gate 56 is the wanderer, the gate of stimulation. And this is an interesting gate in that these are those of us who are susceptible to sharing our take on reality rather than going by the facts. They're always telling a story around what happened rather than the factual information. They are amazing storytellers, but they can also be prone to exaggerating something and not necessarily going by the facts. That's all for the throat energy center gates. As I mentioned, I completed part 1, which I've linked below. And just to recap from today, we discussed Gate 20, which is those that are super direct and don't sugarcoat anything. Gate 16, those that have an inner genius that once they embrace, they're able to really be of service to others. We talked about Gate 62, those that really have logic come easy to them, things just make sense and they help us understand. We talked about Gate 23, which is the ability to communicate and detach yourself from the emotion of what it is that you're communicating. And then lastly, Gate 56, those of us who are prone to maybe exaggerating and not necessarily going by the facts, but rather their version of reality. I hope you enjoyed this video and learning more about the throat energy center. As always, please let me know what you think below and let me know if you have any of these gates defined. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as I put out 2 new videos each week all about human design.